What is up, YouTube? Bobbles and Ball Cards back with another video. Hope you all had a wonderful Monday. Hope your week started great and that you had an amazing weekend. I want to get into a few things. I'm going to be doing I'm just going to keep the pattern that I've been doing. And on Mondays, I've been doing the tag grading update. Folks seem to have liked it. It gets a good bit of conversation, and so that's the kind of stuff I enjoy when I do a video and you guys comment and we can discuss it and everything. I really enjoy that. So I'm going to go ahead and do another one here. I want to touch on a few things first before I get into the numbers. So let me do that, and then we will look at the numbers and go over a couple other things while I have you here. So if you enjoy this, please comment below, give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, all of that good stuff. But anyway, going over comments from last video here, I wanted to address a couple, on video rather than just like reply, because sometimes the tone of a text or like a written message on response to a comment or something could be taken in a different tone. So I wanted to make sure that it's clear. Kid Card Rips here, he commented, if you have followed tag, they have been in development for years, so they want to get out of the gate at an absorbable level. I think they also restricted submissions for time to guard against outgrowing scale. That is a good sign. Let them spread their wings, man. They are doing this right. They will ease in at a level they can process. I believe they will rock the grading process. I want to address this comment, and that's why I wanted to start the video out with this. I want everybody to know there might be a little bit of critiquing on my part, but there's questions that I've had. I might sound sarcastic at times, but even Steve, the founder of Tag, has reached out to me, and he's commented on a video. He's commented on a couple of my videos, actually, and he emailed me, and I appreciate that he's noticed that I'm not just sitting here trying to smash the company, so to speak. I really, obviously I'm a bulk submitter. I grade tons of cards, and this is a new company with, I would say, the first ones maybe to really show that they're doing this with a technical aspect. And anytime you bring something new into the space such as this, there's going to be a lot of questions. Okay, and I have a lot of questions. It may not be easy to answer all of them. It may take them time. But in regards to this question here, and there's others that have said it. Sports Card, once again, I enjoy his content. He said it makes sense to start slow. They may be figuring out the systems and process while gradually developing the capacity. Well, what I argue here, and on November 29th, I'm supposed to have a video scheduled to do with Steve. I'm going to be emailing him questions. I posted it in the community tab. If you guys have any questions, go over there, post them up, and I will add them to my list. I'm going to be shooting the email to him very soon. That way he has time to answer. He asked me to email questions so he can answer them, and then we're supposed to be doing a video. So anyway, if you have questions yourself, go over to the community tab, put them down, and I'll add them to the list. They have to be reasonable questions. I'm not going to ask, I'm not going to be soft, but he's already told me the things that he needs to keep confidential with the technical sides and, some of the patents and that sort of thing. He's not going to be able to answer those. So to an extent, I'll ask him anything else other than what, he can't share with the public because of keeping their technology a secret, I guess. So anyway, if you got questions, go over there. But one of my questions is, if going back to this, they've been in development for years. I believe they stated the patents have been worked on, or this has all been in the works for like 10 years. From what I noticed doing a little bit of research, patents have been worked on, I believe it was around 6 years, if my memory recalls. My thought here is, all of this time and, years put into this, I would have thought that since they limited and restricted the cards coming in, that the computers and everything would have already been somewhat calibrated to handle the cards that they are accepting. So, it's 2000 to current, but it's essentially just basic cards and parallels, because they're not doing any acetates, they're not doing any die cuts, they're not doing any autographs, none of that stuff. So that cuts out a large portion of the hassle of programming and getting it to work correctly. You're basically just doing a rectangular card, with the surface front and back and, scanning it. So I would have thought that for the most part, all that stuff would have been ready to go. So that's why there's a lot of questions here on how much they're doing. And, it's one of my questions I have on the sheet. Is the slowness due to figuring this all out? Did you guys get the patents? Did you get the tech there? And now you're trying to figure out how to use it? Or is it a matter of demand? Is it a matter of none of this stuff was programmed in there until cards started coming in? Like, there's different, many questions that we could ask here. So I just want to be clear. I'm not trying to be like pound them into the ground, pound them into the dirt. They're gone. They're not going to work, whatever. That's not what this is about. This is literally just sharing the process of how they're growing and what numbers they're doing, what kind of, everybody loves the gem rate data, right? This is a simple one. This is something I can do. I can share it. And, if folks agree, disagree, so be it. But I'm just sharing numbers with some questions. So I wanted to make sure that was clear. Next thing I want to go over here, give a shout out to Cajun Cardboard. He did a 3-part, well, it's going to be 4-part. I was put onto this, and I believe Handsome Leper, shout out to him. I'll get more to him in a second. But he told me to come watch this. I watched this reveal video here, and interesting enough, what I liked here that he did is he cracked out 6 cards and he showed what the grades were, and then he showed what they got in a tag. Now, I'm going to be honest, I'm not worried about this 1,000-point stuff. I think that's going to get a lot of people confused. Another thing I have in my questionnaire, I know the 1,000-point allows them to break certain aspects and elements of the corners, edges, surface, centering, all that stuff. It allows them to break it down and refine it in more detail, and especially in the report card. I just think it's going to confuse and give a lot more data than people really want, because in this hobby, most folks want things as simple as possible. So this 1,000-point number, I'm not too worried about. I mean, if it was a PSA 9, I don't care. That's a 927, right? But let's see what it did here. PSA 9 jumped to a tag 10. This PSA 9 went down to an 8.5. This PSA 9 stayed at a 9. This one stayed at an 8. This SGC 10 stayed at a 10. And then this PSA 8 dropped to an 8.5. I mentioned, I have it in my questions, what is separating themselves from a human grading company? By looking at this, you have a bit of everything. You have a couple that dropped, you have a couple that stayed, and you have one that actually went up a full grade. Now, there is no half point, so he mentions it here, and I will be fair here. Maybe this was a very, very strong 9. Maybe the grader just was like, I'm giving this one a 9, but it could have been a 10 to begin with in PSA. Who knows? But you have these, maybe that's a weak 9 and it goes to an 8.5. There's different scenarios here. But it really, this also, if people do this more and the grades come back like this more, it's going to show consistency and how good the human graders are as well. So that's another thing to take into this. This data and sharing this kind of stuff is also going to help the human grading aspect of it, because it's going to show that these guys that are grading and they've been doing this a while, they know what they're doing. So anyway, all right, let's go. Here is obviously the pop report. This is what I pull all of the stuff up. I'll show you here. Baseball has 847 total graded. Just so you guys can see, I do go in and look at everything. All right, so here is, let me move this over a little bit. All right, here is what I did. This is the same running list. I just copied this this row and this row, which was last week's total numbers. Here's the columns for the genres. So I copied this row, this, put it here, and then I added in what the current numbers are in their pop report. So as you see here, baseball jumped up quite significantly. Football jumped up pretty good at 161. Hockey jumped up at over 100. This one, I don't know what the hell happened, but golf went from 30 to 29. So I don't know what happened there, but it's at a negative 1. Sorry. Most everything else outside of the 4 main sports was very, very slight increases. But you had baseball at 178, basketball at 76 increase, hockey at 161 increase. Football at 161 increase, hockey at 103 increase. That gives us a total for the week over, if you add all this up, this row here, of 538. Breaking that down, Veterans Day was in there. I don't know if they acknowledged that as a holiday, but if they did, I also know they were going to the expo, so I threw them a bone again, like I did up here. But 4 days would be 134.5 a day. 5 days would be 107.6 a day. So they have finally broke the 100 card a day mark. For the longest time, and since I've been doing this, I've been saying they've been around that 30 to 40 cards a day. Right here, that's a significant increase. That's what, it's over 3 times the increase of what they did the following week, from 152 that week to 538 this week. So maybe they're moving along more. And that's why I say, I'm not trying to smash them into the ground, but I do have questions of some things. And doing these videos can show the growth, it might even be helping them say, hey, maybe we need to get more done. I don't know. I don't want to take claim of that. But anyway, so this is this week's increase of 538, somewhere around 107.6 to 134.5 a day. Their total amount currently graded is sitting at 2,683 in their entire pop report. You can get that number by adding all of this up. If you want to check my math, you are more than welcome. Let me actually, I forgot to zoom this in for you guys. So there is that, so you can see it better. So you can pause this, count that up, and make sure that it equals that number. You can add this up and make sure it equals that number if you want to check my math. Anyway, all right, so that's where we are with their numbers for the week. Now, I got a package in today. I've had a comment on YouTube. I got an email. And I'm going to say, this shows that people can, and to back to the beginning of the video when I said people were kind of questioning or maybe taking what I've been talking about in a different manner. My second video regarding Tag was the video about, Tag's going to eat these other companies' lunch. That was posted by a user named Handsome Leper on Neo Cards and Comics video that he did with Beckett. And I addressed that comment telling the Tag, the Tag supporters, hey, slow your roll a little bit. Let them grow before you're throwing claim that they're going to just take over the world, right? It's like Ren and Stimpy here. They're coming out just out of the birth canal and they're going to dominate the grading landscape. And my video basically was just saying, hey man, these Tag supporters, y'all are sometimes grading, and the support that grading companies gets a little rambunctious. So I just addressed that, right? And I showed some things and some more questions and stuff that I had. And Leper came across my videos, I guess, at some point and started commenting. And he's watched even some of my other videos now. And comments, says he enjoys the channel. He does comment a lot about the Tag ones. He's not afraid to say he hopes that they succeed, but he's also said that he has a fear that they'll fail. I can show you guys that in a second. But anyway, it's nice to see that even though I might have came across a bit critical on his comment, he took it as constructive criticism, which I think many times people either take what I say wrong, or they don't understand that it's not all just bad or like bashing, I guess. And that comes from, many times on the mic or in a comment or a text message or, a post on a board, a message board, whatever, a forum. Sometimes the tone, sometimes the emotion behind the message comes across differently than it's actually intended. So today, well, he emailed, if I can talk, he emailed me a tracking number, said he had something he wanted to send me. I was like, okay, cool. No, you don't need to, but cool. Thank you in advance. Don't know what it is, but all right. Well, I went to the post office today, checked the mail, got the SGC sub stuff out of the P.O. box, and lo and behold, I got the package from Handsome Leopard. So thank you, sir. First off, I do appreciate it. Now, it is a tag card, so I have it in hand, and I can actually give you guys a honest opinion, and I guess we can call it a review. I will say, again, I'm not complaining. I kind of wish it wasn't a 10 because I wanted to go into the report a little bit and just try to see if I've yet to see a report that gave me a distinctive clarity on why a card got the grade it got. So that's one of my questions with the report card and the 1,000-point thing. Sometimes the report card just isn't showing enough evidence or enough. This is going to sound really stupid. It's not showing detail that tells me why the card is graded what it is. There is a ton of information on that report, but sometimes like the surface imaging, when it's saying like a scratch or this and that, I'm not seeing it on that report, especially where it's notating with the little yellow boxes on some of these cards. So, that's some of the stuff I have questions about. But let's look at the slab, have it in hand. So if this is a Spencer Torkelson 2021 Bowman Draft, Chrome Sapphire. It is in a tag 10, and it got a grade of 963. It's going to be hard for you guys to see that, but 963 with a 10. So, all right, let's get into the opinion and the honest review of it, okay? Actually, 1 second before I do that. Grab one of these out of here. All right. So, first things first, it reminded me immediately of a CSG sub. This is an old label. Ignore that. But overall, the feel of it, the size of it, everything, it feels pretty much like a CSG label. It does have decent clarity of the plastic. It does feel like a good quality slab. It feels nice in the hand. It's very lightweight. That's pretty nice. But I am going to be 100% honest. And if anybody from Tag watches this, I like that this is, either printed on the plastic or however you guys are doing that technology. I don't need to know how you're doing it. I like that is there for security purposes, but I do not like the clear label. I don't. I know they're saying that this is clear so it focuses on the card. I do not like it. If this up here was maybe black or something to where it was blocked and it wasn't like this gigantic window. I've talked about it before. One of my main things that I hate about HGA slabs, outside of the way they feel and the creakiness and everything, but it's the gap they leave above the card, and my eyes attract to that of what's behind it. This, I know the thought is that you're going to look at this, but I am looking like behind. I also don't like, I'm trying to show this to y'all on camera and I'm having to sit there and do that. I just think if maybe this up here was black and y'all printed that, I think it would look a lot sharper. But, That's my personal opinion. Others may actually enjoy the clear. Another thing I'm going to say is this is supposed to be really, really important with the QR code and that 1,000-point grade. And if you can't get it to scan right, then you need to use this little certification number. I'm going to tell you guys, I have my reading glasses on, and I had to use the magnifying glass to even be able to see that number there. I thought it was JS at first. It's J5. So that's very small. And if I was at a card show, I'm going to be totally honest with you, I likely would not be able to look this card up. I'm only 42. My eyes are getting bad for close vision. I can see far away pretty good. But again, even with my reading glasses on, I had difficulty seeing what that cert number was, especially with the clear background. So that's another thing, that I would say. Overall, I'm not going to ream it over the coals too much. It's a nice feel. The plastic is nice. The sizing is good. I like how it's printed on the actual slab. I think that's a great feature. But I don't think it should have been clear. I really don't. I think this would have been much more enjoyed if it was like a black or something like that up there. So honest opinions on that. So overall, decent. Leper, thank you. I'm going to jump back over to here real quick. Let's see. Okay, so here is Leper here. He says, this is on that last video I did. He said, I'm their fanboy, and I'll admit that he's a little disappointed in their numbers. He comments a lot and listens to the numbers being put out. He gives his opinion on it and everything. Right here, he even says he has a competing hypothesis why they would be destined to fail. So he's not sitting here just saying that I'm wrong on the information I'm giving, or talking smack to me. Hey, why are you bashing the company I enjoy? Quite honestly, if you enjoy the tag as your grading company, go for it. I'm not here to tell you otherwise. Personally, I do not like that clear label. That would be the one immediate turnoff for me, to say no, because even though I buy all different slabs and everything, that I actually, the CSG green label, I would prefer over that. And I'm not saying that to bash the tag slab or anything. I just do not like the clear. And again, I've mentioned it previously, way before I ever started talking about tag, about the HGA slabs. I don't like that gap in theirs. So I'm just holding simply of a preference for me. So anyway, let's get into the report card. I'll share that with folks if you've never seen it. So here is the Torkelson that I just showed you guys. Got the gem mint. There's a lot of information on here. I have not went and looked at everything. Again, I kind of wish this wasn't a 10. That way we could break it down, try to find something. So since it's a 10, we're just going to look real quick. It's a pop 8, 7 or gem. It's the third highest gem. This would be based on the 1,000 point. So it ranks third in the 1,000 point scale. And it was the first ever graded. And it was graded on October 6th of 2022. Here's a summary. The overall is a 963. The front breaks down to 968. The back is a 956. So I'm not sure. This is where they really need to give standards and stuff and more explanation instead of just some numbers. Because, where are you getting 963 out of 968, 956? How did this come to these numbers? They're showing us these pictures and stuff, but they're not telling us, there's two pits here, one on the front, one on the back. Okay, cool. but how much did it detract from the grade? You know, what did that create on the surface front and back? You know, by this, I would say, okay, it's 4 points for a pit. All right, that makes sense on this one. But what if I get one that has a pit, a scratch, you know, whatever, right? There's nothing that's giving us those kind of details. Here's some high res detailed images of corners. You know, overall, it's blown up pretty good, but I mean, I don't really need that much detail. Just being honest, I don't really need all that. You know, if somebody said, hey, why did this get a 9? 9 times out of 10, I'm going to be like, oh, the centering's off. Oh, this corner's white. I don't need, like, a scientific analysis. If they gave me a simple grader's, like, card, you know, a piece of paper that a grader marked, circle at the corner, you know, whatever, damage there. Circle on the surface, damage there. You know, whatever, that's perfectly explainable enough. It dumbs it down. It explains, hey, this is what we've seen. You know, I could say, oh, yeah, I've seen that when I pre-screened my card. I agree with it. To be honest, I am actually pretty hard when I pre-screen my cards. So many cases, I will send a card in, and it will actually grade above what I even have it pre-screened at. That's just me being very picky and nitpicky when I'm looking at things, and you know, that actually helps get better grades. And then there's stuff that y'all probably wonder, why in the hell is he sending it? Because it's likely only going to get a 1 or an A, and that's simply just because it's stuff that I just wanted slabs. So but anyway, there is the report. I just wanted to go through that. You can click on, I'll show this real quick. Where's it at? You can click like this, and it'll bring up this here, and it shows you that little dot. There's the pit there on the front. View this. See this, like, you kind of, it's kind of blurry, but you can see a little bit right there. There's a pit right there. So there you have it. That is the report card. Again, Leper, you didn't have to send me this, man. I do appreciate it, though. Thank you for letting me get it in hand and actually talk about it. Again, it's a nice feeling slab. It definitely does have good plastic. I like how they're printing it on, you know, print the label on instead of paper or whatever. I do like that. But that window up there, man, I do wish that was a color or something to where the white popped. I don't know. That would just take me forever to get used to. So anyway, overall, good numbers by them this week. They are improving, obviously. Like I said, a little over 100 a day now. And there you have it. A weekly recap on tag. And to anybody out there, if you just think that I'm crushing them, I do apologize. I've got a list of questions I'm going to send to Steve. Let him acknowledge the questions, answer them, and hopefully you get to talk with him in just over 2 weeks. And hopefully you guys will enjoy that, and we'll have a little bit more answers. Whether you support tag or not, it's always fun to dive into grading numbers. You know, I look at Beckett numbers even though I don't grade with them when GemRate puts them out. Does it have anything to do with me? No, it's just fun. Like, if you're nerding out on numbers, it's fun to look at this stuff. So I hope you guys enjoy it just as much as I do. But as always, hope you have a wonderful evening. Stay safe, stay healthy, and until the next video, I'm out.